Good evening, Mr. Youssef.
Good evening.
Hamas has responded to the hostage deal offer with a demand to stop the war. Help us understand what's going through their mind. What are they trying to achieve?
They want Israel to surrender. All their terms are just means of manipulation, and it's a trap. The moment you get into this trap, it's like a rabbit hole. They create the illusion that negotiations is going to lead to the release of the hostages. But from experience, we know that Hamas is not willing to release all the hostages without clearing the prisons from mass murderers. This is what they want. They are using the hostage situation only to stay in power. They want to end the war. They want Israel to surrender. And they want Israel eventually to release mass murderers. So we have to be very awake during this time, and we cannot fall into Hamas' trap.
On the other hand, families of 136 hostages rightfully say that every day in Gaza endangers them.
What the hostage families need to understand, if we surrender to Hamas today, let's say Israel just withdraw the forces and end the war, will that guarantee the release of the entire hostages, all of them? I doubt that. And this is not what Hamas is talking about. Hamas want a ceasefire, a withdrawal of the forces. They basically want surrender now, and that's not the price they pay back, is not the release of the entire hostages, all of them. They are talking about a number of the hostages. Then later on, they are going to stretch the matter for the next years to come. This is what they did in the past. And they are going to insist on the release of mass murderers, which would threaten the existence of the State of Israel, would threaten the next generation. So it's a tragic situation, the hostage situation. I'm not saying that it's a tragic situation, but we cannot surrender to Hamas because all other alternative options are leading to worse outcome.
There has been talk of exile for Hamas leadership. Can Israel win this war without killing Sinwar, Hania, and all Hamas leadership?
Well, I personally think Hamas must be punished for the crime, for the attempting ethnic cleansing happened on October 7. They must be punished, and the killer should be killed. That includes Sinwar, Hania, Mash'al, Abu Marzouk, and all the list of Hamas leaders. In fact, I am surprised that Israel has been waiting. Israel should notify the Qatari authorities if Hamas does not submit and release the hostages immediately. Israel should warn the Qatari authorities, give them a time frame. If they don't expel Hamas leadership from Qatar, Israel will have the right to attack them, to kill them on the Qatari soil. In fact, if it was up to me, if Hania was very arrogant in his position, then I would cut his head off and talk to the other person who would bend and would surrender, to my truth. I'm afraid that we are not putting more pressure, even if it takes assassinating number 2, number 3, in order to put pressure on number 1. Whatever it takes. And this is why I'm saying, considering Qatar as a mediator in the situation has been a mistake. Trust me, if the Israeli decision makers today announce to Qatar that they have a time frame, 30 days, if Hamas leadership in Qatar don't make up their mind and release the hostages, they would be a target on the Qatari soil. And Qatar will be responsible for the outcome because they are complicit in this crime. This is the right approach. Of course, I don't understand all the situation and diplomacy, etc., but we have to apply more pressure. This is not the time to think about withdrawing forces and taking pressure off Hamas' shoulders. We need to apply more pressure.
Master Youssef, thank you so much for talking to us today.
Thank you for having me.